After a car accident, my wife loses her memory. She throws herself into her first love's arms and frantically aborts our child. When I confront her in despair, she looks at me with nothing but contempt. Why would I keep some child when I don't even know who the father is? You're really shameless, pulling this stunt just to avoid splitting the assets. What she doesn't know is that I have made a deal with the system to bring her back to life. By the time she remembers everything, she's already searching desperately for me all over the world. But I can never return. After a wave of searing pain, my soul drifted out of my body. The doctor covered me with a white sheet and calmly announced the time of death. Scott Moore, male, suicide by jumping. Not far away, my wife, Monique Holmes, was accepting Connor Grant's proposal, completely oblivious to the chaos unfolding nearby. Yes, I will. As Monique nodded shyly in agreement, the onlookers erupted with enthusiasm, praising them as a perfect match made in heaven. But I was Monique's husband. Bitterness welled up inside me. We weren't even divorced yet. Wasn't this cheating? Someone noticed Monique wearing 2 rings and joked that Connor was so thoughtful he bought rings in pairs. Both their faces instantly stiffened. Connor's gaze darkened, his tone dripping with jealousy and accusation as he said, "You're still thinking about him. Take it off. Now." Monique frantically yanked off the ring and threw her arms around Connor. "You're doubting me again. Scott and I never had any real feelings. God knows why I was stupid enough to marry him. I even aborted his child for you. Isn't that enough?" I felt dazed. Monique had never spoken to me in such a gentle tone. But maybe she had once, before she lost her memory. Monique's phone buzzed insistently, my number flashing on the screen. She frowned and, under Connor's watchful glare, turned it off. The nurse sighed in defeat, climbed into the ambulance, and drove away. Connor muttered a curse under his breath. He couldn't even pick a better place to die. Just had to do it right here. Monique leaned against Connor's shoulder, disgust flashing in her eyes as she joined in, saying, "If he wanted to die, he should have done it somewhere else. Clearly the guy deserved it." They exchanged a smile. I laughed bitterly at myself. Why did I marry such a heartless woman? Watching them cling to each other, one of Connor's friends said enviously, "Monique, I can't believe you two reconnected after 5 years apart. Talk about fate." Monique's eyes sparkled with tenderness. "Connor never gave up on me. When I had my car accident, he was the one who rushed me to the hospital. How else do you repay someone who saves your life?" Connor rubbed the back of his neck and quickly changed the subject. My heart jolted. Monique was still deceiving herself. She truly believed Connor was the one who saved her. My soul was trapped at Monique's side. I had no choice but to follow her home. Just as she reached the door, someone blocked her path. It was the director of the orphanage where I'd grown up, Pauline Kinsley. Her eyes were red and swollen, her face twisted as she stared at Monique like she was ready to tear her apart. "Monique, do you know Scott jumped off a building?" Monique paused mid-step and said dismissively, "Yeah." Ms. Kinsley stepped forward and grabbed Monique by the collar, shouting furiously, "It was you. You drove your husband to his death. Why aren't you upset? You lost your memory, not your mind." Monique laughed coldly and shoved Ms. Kinsley hard to the ground. "Ms. Kinsley, you've lost it just like Scott. I haven't even blamed you for tricking me into that marriage, and now you're calling me heartless. Why would I ever marry some orphan? You people just wanted my money. I've finally come to my senses. Thank God I lost my memory and got rid of that baby early. At least now, you can't bleed me dry." I stood there, stunned. This was what Monique had thought of me all along after losing her memory. No wonder every time I tried to explain, she just looked at me with contempt. Ms. Kinsley shakily got to her feet and slowly held up a man's ring. "Mon, I don't care what you think of me, but the dead can't come back. Go see Scott one last time. If you don't, you'll regret it when your memory returns." Monique snatched the ring and examined it carefully, but her voice cut like a blade straight through the chest. "You're really willing to go all out for money, aren't you? Regret? Scott's dead. He was always so dramatic about dying. If he had the guts, he should have done it right in front of me." Ms. Kinsley's hand trembled with rage as she struck Monique across the face, her lips quivering as she said, "How can you be this heartless? Scott gave up his chance to study abroad for you. He drank until he vomited blood just to pay off your gambling debts. What have you ever done for him?